the vision that I had of the adaptation of the book. A universal story about family and faith and fortitude and forgiveness and overcoming that is just that. It's universal. You need to see a chance in the world to be reminded, one, that all is not lost. The second is that there is still goodness in the land, that we are still fundamentally good people. And the third is that no matter what you've inherited, no matter what bad decisions you've made, no matter what challenges you're facing, new beginnings are possible. You can take all of these lessons, all of that struggle, and you can build something new, but not just for you, but for generations still to come. Isn't that magical? Hey there, my name's Steve Pemberton, and I'm the subject of the film A Chance in the World, which will premiere in theaters on May 30th. But I wanted to send this note of acknowledgement and gratitude to the wonderful women of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. You've selected A Chance in the World as a film for your Delta Red Carpet initiative, and I am truly humbled and incredibly grateful for your support. And I also wanted to take a moment to acknowledge your long-standing commitment to addressing the issues of foster care and aging out in America, something that you've been doing both at the local level and the national level for a really long time. I can't even begin to describe to you just how important that is and the effect and the impact that you're having on so many lives. So from this member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated to you wonderful women of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, I thank you, and God bless you. We'll see you in the movies. One story in particular was so incredibly magical to me. I was then at Walgreens, and I had returned from a business trip, and there was a pile of mail waiting for me, and on the top of this pile, my assistant had placed a letter from a fifth grader from a town in Massachusetts. And his babysitter had recommended my book to him for him to read and then write a report on as part of his class project. So that's what he did. And then he wrote to me. And I thought his letter was so instructive, his messages about how we can connect and identify with one another. And as soon as I saw it, I thought, I have to go see him. So we called the school and told his teacher that we wanted to come by and surprise him. And the teacher says, well, I think we're probably going to have to arrange something like that. It'd probably be too much. Now, what I was thinking was, well, we all had favorite authors in our childhood. Can you imagine how you would have reacted had your favorite author just showed up at your school one day? So that was my intention. The teacher says, well, rather than just talking to his whole class, would you mind talking to the entire school? And I said, of course, I'd be honored. I'll be there, and I'd love to. So she says, well, all I have to do is get permission from the principal, and I am talking with her later on this afternoon. The teacher and the principal meet, and the principal is highly skeptical. The principal says, I don't know this man, I've never heard of this man, and I'm not entirely sure that this is the best thing for our kids, to have somebody that we don't know coming to visit the school. And the teacher does not accept this answer, though, and says, well, I'm going to bring you his book, and please read it over the weekend. They were meeting on a Friday. Please read it over the weekend, and then let me know what you think. So they meet the next morning, that Friday morning. The teacher hands the principal the book and then walks out of her office when all of a sudden she hears the principal go, oh my goodness. And she turns around to see the principal just shaking her head in amazement. And finally, the principal says to the teacher, well, we would love to have him here. And the teacher says, well, I don't understand. You were skeptical. Don't you want to learn a little bit more about him? And the principal says, well, actually, I don't need to. I was that man's second grade teacher 40 years ago. So I did go visit young Julian and his teacher and my second grade teacher. It's important to do things for which you're expecting no reward, for which you need no reward. When I responded back to young Julian, I was thinking as much about the impact that it would have on him, how powerful an experience that this would be for him, for his favorite author to come surprise him. And of course, as I learned, I was the one who was actually in for the surprise. And maybe there's something for all of us in an experience like that. Do something for which you're expecting nothing in return, and just have faith that something indeed will be returned to you after all.